You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. Here we are for another episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens. We're now in February, the shortest month of the year, also known as Black History Month. A little bit more on that later, but one of the things I've been trying lately, especially now that I'm doing this podcast weekly and taking some of you all's advice, I have de-stressed before I do the podcast, which is something new. So if I sound calm or relaxed, or you love the way I sound on air, thank my friends who gave me some tips on how to sound less tense when I do this show. Even though I think that I don't know if the difference is the difference, but quite frankly, I've been really excited about doing this particular episode because I have been able to really, get into this. And, when I first started doing this podcast, I did not know it was going to pick up as much traction as it has. I've completely, totally have done 1 month of it. And, sound effects, yay, which is cool because most people don't make it past. Apparently, most people don't make it past a certain number of episodes. They'll get hot into it and then they drop it, So dry January was a real thing. I did keto, as you all know, which prohibits pretty much liquor except for like clear liquor. But I didn't do any drinking really in January. So I was really proud of myself with the exception of course, New Year's. But outside of that, I really did a dry January and it wasn't that bad, actually. But keeping up with New Year's resolutions and plans and things, doing this podcast was something that I really wanted to do from the jump. And so I'm just really proud of myself. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back that I've been keeping it going. And you all have been keeping it going. I mean, oh my goodness, the bulk of mail that you all send me in, messages and things. And the people that, like, the moment you get the alert, which I know the alert comes super late at night, like in the wee hours around midnight-ish. And some of you are like alert like it's a Beyonce digital drop. And I'm pretty flattered that you all think of me in that way and you're listening to this show with that much intent because it is a good show. I mean, quite frankly. I know there's that Joe Budden guy who's got that whatever Patreon thing crap. But over here, I'm giving it to you all, for free for now. And also, I think I have a more knowledgeable show. I mean, how many people are tired of folks who are not like experts or purveyors of truth talking about the news? I mean, it's enough of that on these podcasts. So look at me over here beefing with the podcast folks. No, I'm not trying to get into podcast beef. I'm just saying, like, there's, what I do on this show as a journalist, as someone who actually knows the news, reports the news, and write about it often on a regular basis. It's something different here, Ernestly Speaking. And so I think you all know that, and the thousands and hundreds of you who have been subscribing and listening and spreading the word each week. I just want to just take this moment to thank you that you've been in the home stretch with me for the past first month, and nothing broke except for our democracy and our government, but nothing over here broke. So I'm really happy about that. And so just very calm. Part of my new process now is that before I do the podcast, I try to take a really good soothing shower. I light some candles. I have these candles from the Vanessa Lynn collection, which these are lovely candles. They smell great. And this lovely woman named Matia, who named the candle collection after her mother, who's now not here, she named this collection after her mom. And they're the most delectable candles ever. I mean, they smell so good. I have a eucalyptus candle burning. I got another one in here burning. It's just so, if you could see my room, you would think I was making an album. Like I was like Taylor Swift somewhere in a log cabin, creating folklore with like no electricity except for the stuff that produces the album. But like, that's what it feels like right now. And it feels good. And I'm in a calm, and I take I use my facial mask and I put some magnesium oil on my feet. I'm not joking. There's a group called Ancient Minerals that have a magnesium oil spray that I heard that is supposed to keep you energized and refreshed before you go to bed or whatnot. So I've been spraying it on my feet, and I have some caramel tea with honey and some really good lemon and all that jazz. So it's supposed to be just giving me a calmer vibe. Now, let me be very clear. The shit that I'm going to talk about in this episode is not calming at all. But I thought the art of talking hot shit while drinking caramel tea might be quite the fun. And also having the candles lit too and the vibe. So I'm feeling good. Plus my sheets. I changed my sheets. Okay. So okay, don't judge me. One of my goals is that Martha Stewart says she changes her sheets like almost every other day. I'm not doing that, but I have made a point to change my sheets twice a week. I know. But see, it's two men sleeping in this bed. And so it's real. It's real. I've never been this intense with, changing sheets. I'm not going to do all that. Well, I mean, listen, it was 10 years ago. When I was in college, I think I changed my sheets maybe like once a month. I was terrible. And given the life I was living then compared to now, I was definitely terrible. But I have been making a point to do it twice a week. And it's not that bad. I just have to make sure that I'm very mindful about like using those, I forget what they are. They're not good for kids. Those like detergent pods, they call them. I use those. And my fiance Barry likes to use like actual detergent, and all that stuff. But like for the sheets though, specifically, we wash those separately. And we do like everything, like we make sure, I don't know. I've made it a point to do it. So I have a cycle. My cycle is Sunday and Wednesdays. So I did it today. And then this again, I just have to shout this incredible woman. This Vanessa Lynn collection had this incredible linen spray that has like a peppermint mint scent. It's gorgeous. And my sheets smell great. And under a wonderful snow day where I've been pleasantly enjoying the fact that it's snow. I know people are mad about it. Maybe because I don't really like drive. Or I don't have any of those responsibilities. I don't know how to drive. And, no shade to Pete Buttigieg, who is now our transportation secretary. I'm not really like gung-ho about learning how to, even though I grew up in Texas. But I used to always make this joke, and it's a little crass. I don't know how to drive, but I always knew how to ride. Okay, whatever. So I know I didn't know how to drive. And so I don't. But apparently he, I'm looking at this dude like, is he even prepared to take on this position? Like, whoever, thought that Pete Buttigieg would be the transportation secretary. I mean, I'm not going to throw that shade, but I mean, there's so many other positions he could have had. I just don't get transportation. I was gunning for maybe, Nutter would have been a cool, former Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter, but I don't know if he's really tight with the Bidens or anything, but he supported Bloomberg, good Lord. But I mean, he would have been an interesting person. I mean, we got SEPTA and all that over here in Philly. But like this dude, really? Are you kidding me? Pete Buttigieg? Like, was South Bend out here? I mean, he was out here taking contributions from folks that was getting contracts in South Bend. That's another story for another day. But I'm sitting here looking like, is South Bend like doing something we're not doing in Philadelphia, New York, or other parts of major transportation corridors? I'm just trying to understand what he got that the rest of us don't. I'm just saying. They're just interesting. So what ended up becoming this joke was this. I guess there was this narrative that gay men don't know how to drive. I didn't know that was a thing. I know there was other communities that I'm not going to name that were rumored not to be able to drive, but they were saying that gay men don't know how to drive. I mean, I don't know how to drive. My fiance does. He's a pretty decent driver. But I guess there's this speculation that gays don't know how to drive. And so people were saying like that, that was I making the point of asking, did he know how to drive on social media based on the fact of the narrative that gays don't know how to drive? I didn't even know there was such a thing. But I'm trying to think about all my friends that are gay who don't know how to drive. I don't know even know if my best friend Jamarcus knows how to drive. That's a good question. Does he know how to drive? He might. I mean, he's from Texas. I mean, I grew up in Texas too. Shit, I don't know. I mean, I never have rode in a car with him before, to be clear. That's a good question. Do gays know how to drive? I mean, clearly the answer is yes. I mean, but really. I wonder if Pete Buttigieg knows how to drive. They say that he lives down in the Midwest, so he must know how to. He probably do. I don't know. All I know is that him being transportation secretary just sounds like a kickback for being one of the first to support Biden once he got off the campaign trail. Because y'all know Julian Castro wasn't for the shits, and that was my first top pick. He supported Elizabeth Warren. He was not giving Biden any support, and so that's why we haven't seen him, in that type of appointment consideration. We saw who got him, right? Kamala. What happened to Beto? Did Beto get anything? I mean, just another hopeful shot at trying to get Texas to turn blue or something. Who knows? Oh, the mediocrity. So anyway, I've been really excited about. I'm having a really great time with this podcast, with everything going on in my career right now. As you can imagine, there's just been some really great things. I have some really big news, but I cannot announce it because the news I was going to announce, I realized that by the taping of this episode, it would not be released, which means I can't say anything. But then people say, Ernest, you fucking do this all the fucking time. Why do you always hint at this? Listen, I have learned that you all have to brace yourselves before you get these types of things. Dropping these things on people have caused all types of things to break. So now I just do the thing that your faves do. Your favorite celebrities like Cardi B, who, by the way, quote tweeted me on Twitter. Again, this is not the first time she's done this. We've had other, like a love relationship. She's a Libra, I'm a Libra. We Libras in action. Listen, let me sidebar this. I don't really know how fucking zodiac signs work. I just think it's funny that if I find a coincidence, I make something out of it. And if I don't find a coincidence, I don't make anything out of it. That's how talking about zodiacs work. But anywho, she, has a new single coming out called Up. And, after her blockbuster smash hit that was on the charts literally for weeks on end, WAP, she's now back with her own solo single, Up, and she's selling single cassettes. Not cassettes, CDs. Like actual physical CD singles. And I haven't gotten one of those for I don't know, the last time I ever got a CD single in the CD form. So I'm excited, but she's selling them special. Just like she did WAP with the vinyl, which sold really well. She was autographing them, and it's nuts. So, both, Barry and I are big Cardi B fans. I'm a huge Cardi B fan, and Invasion of Privacy was an incredible album. What an incredible debut rap album. I mean, let's be real. That shit was fire. Still listen to it. Those songs on that album are still bangers. Still bangers. Bodak Yellow still snaps. Still snaps. Ring is still a jam. Even stuff that wasn't big off of that album are memorable. Yeah, I love Ring. I thought Ring was so great with Kalani. That was a great single. Be Careful is still good. I mean, it's a lot of good stuff that's good. But anyway, she, it's okay. To my larger point, I have a goal that I wanted on my list, my bucket list of goals as a journalist, and it's happening, and it's big to me. It might not, well, it's going to be pretty big to y'all too, but it's something that I'll say this. My bio is going to have an update on my bio. That's how momentous this is. It will be something will update in my bio. No, I'm not leaving Philly. No, it's nothing like that, but it's something pretty damn awesome. And I'm super excited when I can be able to talk about it. I'll just say that much. But I just, when I get that call and I get that confirmation in my, inbox, then I like to at least tell people to watch out. You know how artists say Cardi is coming or someone's coming, Ernest is coming. That's how I'll put it. But I'm just super excited right now. As you can probably hear the excitement in my voice. A lot of you all pay attention to my voice, the inflections, the cadence and all that. And I have really great podcast equipment apparently. I have the Heil 240 and I got a wind capper, a windbreaker, and the pot screen. I got both of those things on this damn mic. The windbreaker, the capper, whatever, and then the cap thing. Both of the things. I listen, I'm new to this. I'm still new to this, but I have both of those things. And I use Logic Pro from Apple, and I have a new Apple Mac Pro book. Like I said, state-of-the-art technology for this podcast. The best quality things for my favorite listeners. So, where do we start with this week? Oh my goodness. Well, let's start where we always start. National. Trump got some trash ass lawyers. I just this impeachment trial is about to kick off, and it's a fucking circus. But we knew it was going to be a circus. But like, first of all, 5 of his attorneys have already left him, broke up with him basically. I don't know why. Apparently, they reportedly did not like the fact that he was still pressed on pushing this lie about defending the fact that the election was stolen. We all know the election was not stolen. End it now. Shut it the fuck down. Apparently his attorneys, who are conservatives, also agree with that assertion. Like, it's not happening, dog. Let it the fuck go. Your election was not stolen. Republicans, even across different states like Georgia, which is now blue, agree. Like, you're over here dissing secretaries of states across other states. Like, sit down. But he wants to push this. The attorneys would not agree on that. They're like, nah, dog, we're not about to do this. So, being the crazy man that he is, he said, okay. So they left him. And I think a lot of them probably left him because they was probably scared about their careers. But then again, they probably wasn't afraid of they weren't afraid of their careers, because at the end of the day, what did they do? Oh, they decided to even sign up to be a part of it in the first place. So that's very telling. People are trying to, distance themselves. Republicans are all over the place. Their ties to these damn seditious, these traitors at this point. They're hype about that. I mean, everyone's just trying to figure out their footing in this shit show. But the 2 attorneys that he did hire, oh my God. Becky, look at their record. The record is ridiculous. The record is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I haven't seen, these lawyers, the circus, y'all, the circus. I can't. And it's just so much, it's so much tea going on. I don't even know where to start. I'm sitting here looking like, at what point did we become this group? Let me back this up. This country has always been a problem. But I don't know if the country has ever been this much of a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the most patriotic person, clearly. But, come on. So, Donald Trump's new lawyers are Bruce Castor and David Shewan, who are basically going to be leading him and being his legal team. They basically are here to support him. And, both of them are crazy. One is crazier than the other. But let's start with Sean. Sean, or whatever his name is, Mr. David, okay, who basically considers himself a civil rights attorney. Now, there was a 2020 docuseries in Discovery Channel that was about that pedophile financer, Jeffrey Epstein, who Sean described as first of all, this attorney has defended people like Roger Stone. Okay? And y'all know Roger Stone. That is the one who was a ride or die for Trump, who had the FBI busting up in his house. The one who, I guess, sought exoneration from Trump. This guy was a mess. But this is the company that David Schoen keeps. So he said during the documentary that before he died, he's referring to Jeffrey Epstein, that Jeffrey asked him to take over the defense of his criminal case, stating, quote, "Nobody can say there's absolutely no basis to these conspiracy theories. I don't believe he took his own life." Yeah, he really believes that this bastard did not commit suicide. Even though I think we all, saw that the autopsy reports, it's pretty clear what happened here. Epstein knew he was going the fuck down. Instead of for being a man and holding himself accountable for the shit that he did, he killed himself. A coward. So, from there, we already knew what it was given. But, y'all, Bruce Castor. Now, some of you are in Pennsylvania, my Pennsylvania people, okay? Because, I know a lot of my Philly listeners love when I shout Philly. This is not a Philly man, but he is next to us in Montgomery County. So, Bruce Castor is the other attorney defending Trump. And he is the cousin of Stephen Castor, who was a House Republican staff lawyer that was involved in Trump's first impeachment in 2019. Okay. So this is, again, Trump's second impeachment situation. And this Kelly Casters like to be on payroll. So in 2005, okay, Castor was a district attorney in Montgomery County. Now, y'all know the county because that's not too far from Philly, from my Philly folks. Montgomery County, you know, the place where a lot of you all claim that you are for Philadelphians, but you're living over there in those little houses, but keep talking about you live in a county, think your schools are better than everybody else. Yet y'all who reap up Philadelphia resources, but at the same time, you know, live outside of Philadelphia, y'all people, yes, this is the Montgomery County I'm talking about. Shade. So, anywho, he was the DA of Montgomery County back in 2005. And what he was notorious for is that he declined to charge Bill Cosby, you know, America's TV dad turned sexual predator. This was a year after Cosby's accuser, Andrea Constant, reported that Cosby drugged her and molested her. Now, see, here's where it gets messy. At the time, Castor had issued a statement claiming that his investigation found, found insignificant, credible, and admissible evidence, beyond a reasonable doubt. Basically, he was making the excuse that he could not charge Cosby. But that was bullshit. And we all knew that was bullshit. But it would not be until Cosby was on trial in 2016 when multiple victims came forward, when all of these women, dozens of women, okay, came forward and accused Cosby of more shit, right? And it got to the point where nobody could hold it down for Cosby, even though many of y'all, well, some of y'all still do. And I just want to say on behalf of victims everywhere and people who support victims, fuck you. So, moving along, it turned out that Castor had secretly promised the former TV dad immunity from the criminal prosecution in exchange for his testimony at a civil trial. So, in other words, he forgot to tell everybody that behind closed doors, he actually had evidence, like actual evidence, that Cosby basically admitted to doing this. This is where the whole Quaaludes and all that shit came about. Okay. Now, when Castor went to trial in 2016, he had defended himself, saying that he thought making Mr. Cosby pay money was the best he was going to be able to set the stage for. Basically saying, quote, I was hopeful I had made Miss Constant a millionaire. So, for anybody keeping tally, yes, Trump has a relationship with lawyers. Okay, Trump, who also has been accused multiple times of sexual misconduct over many years, constantly throughout his career. He has a thing with having attorneys that are into paying people off and doing quid pro quo type of shit. I mean, let's not forget Michael Klein, his first lawyer who left him, who defended him to the fullest until, basically he got in trouble. Or Michael Cohen. Not Michael Klein. Yikes. Michael Cohen. Sorry. I'm forgetting my Michaels. But Michael Cohen was Trump's big lawyer. Okay, that was before Rudolph Giuliani got involved and became a disgrace to everybody, including New York City. But this was the attorney that was dealing with the Stormy Daniels situation, with the recordings and the money being to silence her and all that shit. And the one who lied about it all, this is that Michael Cohen, who ended up leaving and telling everybody that Trump is trash, after he, got arrested and shit. So here he goes with this attorney who has a history of doing similar type of creep type shit. So this man is fucked up. Cass is fucked up. So at the time, the judge, Stephen T. O'Neill, chided Castor, basically saying, dismissing that private immunity deal, right? And this is important because for those who are trying to figure out what made Cosby's case, what was that turning point? Arguably, this is one of the turning points because pretty much this judge basically who did not know about this secret agreement that Castor had with Cosby back in 2005, basically said, I don't give a fuck. In a nutshell, he was like, oh, you can't use it. This can be used. So that testimony that Cosby gave, that damaging testimony that Cosby gave in 2005, that he thought was never going to see the light of day, was permissible and was used. And that was the shit that we all saw where pretty much Cosby had admitted to doing it. And so district attorney at the time, Kevin Steele, who finally prosecuted Cosby in Montgomery County, argued that, quote, a secret agreement that permits a wealthy defendant to buy his way out of a criminal case isn't right. Now, for those who like messy politics, here's why that was tea. Because District Attorney Kevin Steele had just whooped Castor's ass to become district attorney only a few months prior. So yes, Castor, even back in 2005 to even then in 2016, was basically running for DA. He had been the district attorney and was still trying to run for re-election. And this guy, the one who called him out his bullshit at this trial, had just whooped his ass a couple of months ago. So this was like sweet revenge. Steele, this guy, Kevin Steele, who is a district attorney in Montgomery County, had defeated Castor to become district attorney only a few months prior. Steele was a Democrat. Castor, as you can imagine, was a Republican. Basically ran a very, very gut-punching campaign against him, like whooped that ass. And really was holding him down. If you could still find some of these campaign videos, look up Michael Steele campaign 2015 district attorney race. There's some really big ads. One of them he said was that Bruce Castor wasn't looking out for victims. He was talking really about the Cosby case and really was because Me Too movement was coming about. And that was in the early phase before Me Too really popped off. But this was at a time where the Cosby case was in the news. And so Kevin Steele had called out Castor for being, for basically dropping the ball. And that is what people think helped him, because Republican power dominated that DA seat in Montgomery County for a long time. Montgomery County is an interesting suburb. It's been turning blue like many of the other surrounding suburbs in recent years. But some of you all, especially my black folks, love to try to put, their kids up in these damn, these damn programs, and, love to keep their kids segregated from other black kids, and their kids go to those schools and then be called the N-word. They feeling some type of way. Just saying. I'm just saying. I went to public school my entire life. So you're talking to somebody who, Speaking of the N-word, because clearly y'all out here using the N-word like it's new in style. What the fuck? First of all, breaking news. New York Times staffers have sent an outraged letter to their bosses demanding that a reporter apologize for a racial slur. This is hot news. This is hot tea. More than 150 employees really excoriated the paper brass for what they said was an insufficient response to allegations that a top reporter had made racist comments on a 2019 trip with students. Okay, this is wild, y'all. Now, apparently, this was a letter that was sent to the New York Times staffer, sent this on Wednesday to the paper's top bosses because they didn't like the fact that how they handled complaints. Now, this star journalist is named Donald McNeil Jr. Apparently, he was using racist language while on a New York Times sponsored student trip. Now, the Daily Beast had reported, which is a publication that I, of course, write for, said that the reporter had emerged as one of the paper's most high-profile reporters. He was respected, but he was accused of making racist remarks while serving as a representative on the 2019 educational trip to Peru with high school students. People said in their reviews that the reporter used the N-word while on the trip. 3 other students had also alleged that he made racist comments and used stereotypes about black teenagers. Child, the tea is hot. The tea is hot. What is going on at the New York Times? New York Times does some shit every fucking week. I don't get it. Y'all out here doing the most. They out here trying to cancel Chris Pratt, apparently. They keep trying to claim Chris Pratt racist, the actor, the one who's... I don't even know. I get confused with these white actors. Is he Captain America? I don't keep up, child. Oh, he was in the Jurassic Park remake movie, I think. I don't know. I get him confused with the other white guy. Not Chris Pine. But like Chris Pine, Chris Pratt, it's another one. that's like was Captain America. They all, I'm not gonna say they all look the same, but they all just, it could be Ryan Gosling's cousin for all I know. They're accusing him of racism. All these allegations. So many people using N words, so little time. It's a lot. It's a lot to be black in America. Especially all this is happening during Black History Month. I just don't understand. Why are we pressed to use the N word? Why? I mean, I'm black. I can use the N word, and I use it sparingly. Not that I'm all about respectability politics, but like I just, where at least in my circle, well, the N word has power. The N word will always have power, and when I have used it amongst my peers, my black peers, there's energy to it. You just can't be out here. It's not for you to say. And it makes me think of my one of my favorite actors, who does the Do It. Y'all remember that? Delroy Lindo, who does this scene in this episode, this show. He is basically on stage. It's very viral, and he's on this show, this anchor. It's like The Good Wife, but it's like the spinoff to The Good Wife. And he's on there, and he is on the show, and somebody's talking about, can I use the N word? And he's telling them, do it, like trying to compliment them, and they're nervous as hell. Which brings the point that it's not for you to say. Like, the N word is not yours. You don't own it. It's not your word. I don't know why this is a hard concept. I think anybody at this point who likes to use the N word or demand why they can't use it is somebody who's already using it, but they're just trying to get a validation from another black person to use it. And whoever that black person is who was giving them that cosign, there is a special place in hell for you, because it's not acceptable. It's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. I think there's a thing where there are so many, white people that want a piece of the black pie. And it's like, you've taken so much from our culture, including our livelihoods and our labor for free for hundreds of years, including now. And this is what happens. This country star, Morgan Wallen, using the racist, using the N-word. Thank goodness country radio stations are putting their foot down, telling him to fuck off. I'm shook. It's about damn time country music was doing that. So they take him off the air, just like they took the Dixie Chicks off the air. Remember when the Dixie Chicks was off the air for keeping it 100? Now country music is keeping that energy with real problems, because the Dixie Chick wasn't a problem for what they said. And the fact that people really tried to cancel them, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think that it just goes to show you where we are in society when people could just be out here slinging the N-word like it's nobody's business. But, we're also at a time where we're in a country right now that is letting anyone do whatever the hell they want to do, including certain U.S., congresswomen. Have you all been following this crazy nut? This woman, she, first of all, Ted Cruz is crazy as hell. Let's not act like this woman, she's definitely in the top. It's a lot. I don't know if you heard about this woman. You have heard about it. You haven't been living under a rock. But this U.S. Congresswoman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay, from Tennessee, the Republican, this woman is nuts. So everyone's like trying to get this woman out, it's a lot. So Fox anchors out here calling out the GOP senators for dodging questions on addressing her. Liz Cheney has already been trying to remove, there's been so much beef about this congresswoman. Her name is Marjorie Greene. Basically, she's from Georgia. So she's from Georgia, and there's just been a lot of crazy stuff going on. So House Republicans have refused to remove her from her committee assignments. Okay, so it's up for a vote after social media posts endorsing. Basically, she had put posts on social media endorsing getting Speaker Nancy Pelosi executed. Yes. This woman has made posts on social media calling for one of her colleagues to be killed, murdered, assassinated. That's what we're dealing with here. That's the kind of energy we're dealing with. And people are out here debating whether or not they should remove her. Trying to, come after a member of the squad, Rep. Ilion. Like, why? Why? So, for people that don't know how nuts this woman is, I mean, she has harassed school shooting victims. She's even said crazy shit like Jewish space lasers cause wildfires. Shit like that. Anti-Semitic shit. Crazy stuff. Conspiracies. QAnon queen. I can't even keep up. But she's clearly batshit crazy. And people elected this woman. Like, people actually said, I'm going to vote for this crazy batshit woman. I mean, she's out here with face masks saying Trump won on the House floor. Like, somebody calling the clowns. Somebody calling the clowns. Somebody calling a doctor. It's just really hard to believe that. It's not hard to believe. I don't know what to think at this point. I just don't know. I can't. All I gotta say is that I'm 1,000% want Black people, especially this month. Not that this month is any special to any month. I have to remind myself that. But I want Black people to understand, especially right now, where we are in this time. There is nothing we can do that's worse than white people in America when it comes to fucking this country up. We had a Million Man March, and we didn't do an insurrection. You remember the Million Man March back in the 90s? It was a bunch of Black men out there in the heat. And we didn't tear down DC. We didn't. So when people say things like, well, what about if Black people storm? We did. We've done it several times. We've done it at least 2 times. The March in Washington with MLK, which is one of the most peaceful, historic, beautiful moments in DC history, in American history. Okay? Did we tear up shit? Even though we, at that time, did not even have equal rights. In the 90s, even with, some interesting personalities like Louis Farrakhan and folks, no one cited a riot, no violence. But you get a bunch of angry white people and they tearing shit down. So I don't know. I want this to be very clear because this is Black history retold. I don't know where in the history books do people place this narrative that Black people are the most violent, destructive people. We are probably the most peaceful people that you could ever fucking meet on the planet. Because for all of the things we have dealt with, what we have done in revolt pales in comparison to the most privileged, wealthiest people in the world. And what's interesting about that is that people assume that wealth and money and things make you less toxic, but in many ways, more wealth and more power makes you more violent. Look at Trump. Look at these billionaires. I mean, Jeff Bezos is finally stepping out as the CEO of Amazon, except he's going to be executive chairman. As if being a regular chairman wasn't enough. Executive chairman, he's trying to transition into apparently the next couple of months. But these people are violent. Violent in the fact that they don't give people decent wages, poor working conditions, silencing folks from unionizing and speaking out against injustice in their own workplaces. These bastards are crazy. And they're rich. And rich does not make them calm. But you have Black people out here who've gone through hell and fire in this country, and yet has given their lives and have fought wars on behalf of this country, protected this country, and continue to pay taxes to this country and vote for mediocre elected officials for this damn country. Good God. But somehow, people are walking down the street shook and scared of us. I don't get it. Black men are a teddy bear compared to white men and the violence that white men have put out. I'm not saying that we haven't had moments, but god damn it, these moments don't compare to anything that we see. You got bastards out here tearing down the Capitol building and then going to jail, bitching about how they need organic food. Facts, true story. One of the crazy domestic terrorists, the one with the red and blue face paint with the damn horn, like, Vikings hat or whatever the hell it was, is now a snowflake up in jail telling the judge he needs organic food, and his lawyer talking about how he's got to change your heart and he's lost 20 pounds, and the judge is ordering him to get this organic food. Can you believe that? But they wanted to claim, see that these people out there was class anxiety. No, there was motherfuckers was eating organic food and storing up on non-GMOs and then turning around and pushing for white supremacy at the same damn time. That motherfucker probably had an organic banana in his bag while he was going down obstructing justice. Okay? Motherfuckers out here organic and breaking laws. It's just like crazy. But the narrative though, right? Liberals, hippie liberals who eat organic food at Whole Foods, and so detached from society. The coastal elite and their Ivy degrees. Ooh. But you got motherfuckers out here educated with jobs, professors and teachers and counselors, school counselors and shit out there. They were all out there. Like I said in my last episode, y'all laughed at me. The shit was the Infinity Wars for white supremacists. You had Proud Boys, neo-Nazis, fucking QAnon, all of the racist superheroes came together to tear down the Capitol. Meanwhile, their leader, their Thanos, Trump, was ready for everything because he had the affinity crystals. And you know what those motherfuckers were. The affinity crystals was the fucking pardons that he let off his thuggish ass friends. His social media. All of those things he had before they were taken away from him. Those were his affinity crystals. His damn pardons, his damn social media accounts, all of those. And he lost all of those, and then he lost his power. And he was defeated. Y'all can tell I did not watch Infinity War. Fun fact, I didn't watch it. I just figured that was probably the narrative of the story. I'm not into superhero movies, y'all, for real. The only, so I'm telling on myself. That's why I don't know anything about this Captain America character. I don't know who these white men are. The only superhero film I've ever seen in a movie that I actually bought a ticket and watched was Black Panther. That's it. Black Panther. That was it. And it's we're up on it now, the 3-year anniversary? 2-year anniversary? 3-year anniversary of Black Panthers? Damn. It was almost like yesterday that we was in that movie watching it. Black Panther was everything, y'all. Still is. Still great. Still great. And not because Bosman passed. It was great before. It was like the Black Star Wars. Like the feeling that probably people got when they went to go see Star Wars is what I felt when I saw it. I saw it more than once. And clearly a lot of people did. And it was just an escape. And nothing compares to it. But white people, one of the things they was doing that had me tripping was y'all was out there doing the Wakanda, greeting. And I was like, no, T'Challa did not. No. Stop. Full stop. Like, cut it out. It's okay to let black people have nice things. Like, I let you all have friends. Y'all can have friends. I don't need friends. I mean, you all watch it, enjoy it. I'm not saying that other people that are of other races don't watch Friends, but Friends is for y'all. Like, y'all enjoy all of it. The corny theme song, Jennifer Aniston, I don't get it. And y'all can have Seinfeld too. Y'all, that's y'all. Like Seinfeld, even though I do find that shit funny with him eating and cutting that fucking Snicker bar. But again, I don't do the most. I let y'all have that. Y'all just gotta let us have some things. I know y'all not, but I mean, I just want to say that off my chest. My Wakanda is not your forever. It's not. And that means a lot. Like, let me be very clear. My Wakanda is not your forever. It's not. It's not. And I had to say that because we're at a time where people are out here doing the damn most. And I'll get to that about Black History Month. But let me just say this about the Proud Boys. So Canada has declared the Proud Boys a terrorist group. Yes, Canada, the country that did not have the insurrection, decided they were going to do the right thing and declare this motherfucking group a terrorist group. Because they're like, you nasty ass Americans, keep y'all fucking groups out of our fucking country. Canadians are telling us to kiss their ass, even though they slipped up with their little prime minister with that blackface. But I guess he apologized. See, you can't trust any of these people. You can't. I'm out here checking out white people like, did you have blackface? Just tell me now. Okay, so I have a few white friends. A few. Not that I discriminate against. I just don't have that many white friends. But here's the thing. A lot of white people don't have a lot of black friends. You can tell. So it don't even come over here judging me. Let me be very clear. I have had white friends over the years, and the racism jumps out, and then you just have to say bye. So it's not my fault, right? I just think that a lot of times black people feel this pressure, and I'm telling black people, it is 2021. We got to stop feeling the pressure to quote unquote diversify ourselves. We are diverse. Us being here in the United States, being bastardized with white culture, European aesthetics, makes us more multicultural in the United States than white people have ever been to us. And I have to say that because there's a lot of times I see children being told to, this is proper. And it's oftentimes practicing white mannerisms or dictations of what white people appear, what it means to dress a certain way, all in respectability politics. And sometimes people just blame it, like, oh, you have to be a certain way to appeal to white people. And it's like, I hate that. And I've fought my entire career to make it a point to be my authentic self and be successful in my own right without having to feel like I have to cater to white people in a certain particular way. I mean, living in this country, survival is of essence, so no one can ever be, I think in this country, 100% not aware of it, right? Like that white gaze is forever cemented in our livelihood, even subconsciously, because we grow up in a society that it puts fear in us of white people. And it's hard, like as a young person, as a millennial, to shake that off. I mean, it's, as much as I think that I'm pretty much beyond basic on it, there are still those fears and those things that come, that threatening of your livelihood and all of those types of things. And white supremacy, until black people in this country are given reparations or those things, that will be the reality of our circumstances, that white people will have to be considered in everything we do. Not as much. See, I'm someone who believes that we overdo it. Like, we do too fucking much. We don't have to roll them out of red carpet. But unfortunately, there is still this gaze because they control money, resources, and things. And so it's always that fucking dance. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Even when you aren't thinking about things that perpetuate white supremacy or support white supremacy, it happens, right? Like, for example, I was celebrating getting a master's degree. My master's degree finally came in the mail, which is a miracle because I didn't think I was going to get this fast. As you all know, I got my master's in communication management from the University of Southern California. I got my bachelor's from the University of Pennsylvania. And the crazy thing is that the moment I got it, a lot of people were just like, nice compliments, great things. But then I noticed that, of course, that influx of people who was like, oh, you're official. Like, you're a legit, professional now because you have a master's. And, it made me start thinking, like, why did I get one? And I got one because I wanted to learn more. But there's always that thing, that thing of like, is it because we live in a society that makes it seem like that is the way that you must have it, right? And who made that society? Who made those declarations of what intellect is and how we define it? It's a lot of things, but I don't feel like getting a degree is a white thing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the level to which we put so much wealth on those types of things is definitely driven by white supremacy. Like, there's people that really believe that having a college degree makes them better than other people or somehow makes them more palatable to white people, and they don't give a fuck. Your favorite black folks had doctorates and were still assassinated. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated by white people. He was a Nobel Peace Prize winner. He gave great oratories, wrote tons of books, and was assassinated. Like, they don't care. They don't care. Yet the gag is that MLK is white people's favorite person, but they also killed him. So it's like your favorite person that you tell everybody to be like was also killed by you. So that is what I think about when those moments come where people try to define my, officialness based on these things in these type of shallow, superficial ways. But no, I got the degree. I was super excited. Came in the mail, put it in my fancy ass frame, which I love. Debating with my mom in my head about this because she has my bachelor's and she wants my master's. And I was like, I thought the deal we had was that, and this is like first world problems, but I thought the deal that we had was that the parents keep the bachelor's in the house, but the adults keep the masters. That was like how I thought about it. I mean, that was a thing I heard from my friends who had multiple degrees and shit, at Penn. But the way they said it was that the parent gets the bachelor's and you keep the advanced degree. Because when you go to your office, your workspace, or whatever, people don't really care about your bachelor's degree. They care about what your advanced degree is in the field. So if you have a doctorate or a master's or law degree or MBA or whatever, they care about that degree because that normally is the degree you're leading with in the office. But the bachelor's degree is of importance, but like having it in your office is kind of like just pointless at that point, I guess, to some people. So most people give the bachelor's to their parents. Their parents love to have the bachelor's in the house. So my mother has, for 7 years, had my bachelor's, and it's beautiful because it's, in a great, nice frame, and it's a centerpiece, and it's beautiful, and it's worth $200,000 that I didn't pay for. So she loves it, but I sent her a picture of this master's degree, which is in an even better frame, in my opinion, that looks lovely, that is in my house right now, up here, looking at it right now. It's gorgeous. And I shared it on my Instagram and social media. But she was like, oh, this is great. Can't wait to frame it next to the bachelor's. What? Where? So now I'm probably going to have to order another degree, get another frame, and give her version, and then I keep my version. And so that's probably what we're going to have to end up doing, because I can't say no to her. Okay, so we're in Black History Month, and a lot of you all have been asking me, Ernest, what you doing for Black History Month? Not a motherfucking thing. If you've Googled me over the years, I have been very much critical about Black History Month. I just don't know. I don't care for the month. I think it could have been a great month if Black people could have kept it. But we don't really own Black History Month anymore. Corporations own Black History Month. Black History Month has morphed into what Pride Month has become for the LGBTQ community. And as someone who's in both communities, the shit is annoying. February and June are like, okay, so let me just say this for the record. It, as a Black writer, as a Black gay writer, those are like the months where I get a lot of great freelance assignments. So I get speaking engagements. They say, you know what, we love Black people today. We love gay people this month. The way they do it. So they say, oh, we want you to come speak on this panel and have this conversation. We want you to be part of this conversation. All these companies come through and they do write me some checks, and I do make some additional income in addition to my work. And it's good. And it's in February is an important month because, as you all know, my anniversary is on February 13th. And then Valentine's Day is on the 14th. And then Mr. Johnson's birthday, my fiance, is on February 17th. So one could say that I go super broke. But no, I mean, we have tried to figure this shit out. And because I'm in the same gender-loving relationship, a gay relationship, a queer relationship, the drill, we're hitting 7 years this year, which is very special. The number 7 carries a lot of significance in our relationship. Like the 7th year, our anniversary, we're getting married. The 7th year of my coming out, he proposed to me. My engagement ring has 7 studs. 7 is just a special number. It's just a special number. The number 7 in our relationship. And 7 holds like a biblical sense of completeness. So that's special too. Anyway, Fun facts. So yeah, we're doing it. We're doing some stuff for the pandemic. I am getting my second COVID-19 vaccination shot, which will complete my vaccination period process next week. So I'm getting ready for that. Shout out to Dr. Ayla Stanford and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium. I'm sidebarring right now because I need to give them a shout out because you know that crazy story I told you last week about that idiot over there at Philly fighting COVID. Well, they lost their contract. They are under investigation. Hearings are underway for their asses. We found out that the deputy health commissioner resigned after they found out that she was giving them information that gave them a competitive advantage in the contracts. I fucking knew it. Crown me. I called it. I told you something wasn't right. Well, she was the missing link. And so she stepped down after revelations came out in the Philadelphia Inquirer. So she's out, which now opens the door. First of all, when Kenny's no longer mayor and all this shit, falls apart, we need Dr. Ayla Stanford to be the next health director of the city of Philadelphia. I'm just going to put that out there now. Dr. Ayla Stanford needs to be the next health director for the city of Philadelphia. Like, we got to start that campaign yesterday. That needs to start. But now, so what happened to Philly fighting COVID is that now while people are trying to get that mass vaccination thing popping, the leftover vaccines that was distributed to them during their contract that they now did not complete is now going to health organizations like the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium. So there's a happy ending to that story. I mean, it's still fucked up, but it's a happy ending to the story to a certain degree. I mean, there's still more needs to be done, but there's sometimes miracles happen. But anywho, I am getting my vaccination from them, basically next week. And this one is going to be the full dosage because the first one from Moderna was 50%, I believe. And the next one is like the full dosage. And then 2 weeks out, I reach full immunity, but it begins to kick in immediately. So, I've just been doing good, staying in the house, staying home. I haven't really been going out, just keeping myself up, taking my vitamins, staying healthy, eating right. I must say, as some people be out here anti-vax this, anti-vax that, they're like immunizations. I gotta tell y'all, I'm all about good health and good wellness when it comes to stuff like that. Like I get a flu shot every year. I have not been sick, in a while. And I had to knock on some wood. But I've kept myself up. I really do. I'm not a gym rat or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, as far as just knowing my body, getting plenty of sleep, drinking water, not stressing over bullshit. And even as a journalist, having incredible, awesome sex on a regular basis can do wonders for your health. I'm just saying. But, if you cannot have sex, masturbation works as well. It's a de-stressor as well. Any of those types of things that allow, endorphins in your body to do its thing, it matters. But health and wellness matters. I've been really getting a lot of de-stress, and it's been good, especially being snowed in. It's allowed me to light my candles from the incredible Vanessa Lynn collection. Just having just a lot of, I've realized that my media career can be chaotic and news can come all over the place. But just because the news of the day is getting chaotic doesn't mean my living quarters and my housekeeping has to be. So I've been making a point literally for the past 6 months to keep my goddamn room clean. I mean, like I said, I've been changing my sheets, but I've just been a clean room will do a lot for your sanity. And I think, like I said, I got my whole room super clean. And if you can't clean it yourself, pay somebody some good money to do it. But do what you got to do. Because now that my room is my studio, I wanted it to be clean because one, it's a studio now. But two, I mean, a quarter of the room is a studio, and then the other half of the room is the bedroom and everything else. This is a big ass 1-bedroom apartment. I love this place. Anywho, but I be going off. I digress. That's what this podcast should really be called. It should be called Ernestly Speaking or I Digress. So I say all that to say that in a nutshell, I've been doing well in spite of the nonsense with Black History Month. So Black History Month, y'all, to bring this all back to full circle. A lot of people have been doing the fucking most this month. Not just this month, but every fucking February. Ever since I was a child, I've had traumatic Black History Month experiences that have just really been a mess. Okay. So I remember one time before I was like a journalist, like full time, I was freelance at Metro this time. I think this was in 2015. I was a part-time, I was doing part-time teaching at West Philly High. And this white teacher that was there during Black History Month gave me a gift. It was a sage, I think it was a sage scented candle, but it was wrapped in kente cloth or whatever. And she was just like, the way the note read on it was like she wanted me to bask in it all my Black boy joy. I said, girl, what are you doing? First of all, who giving gifts during Black History Month? It's not Christmas. And then the crazy part is to add insult to injury, y'all. Like, I got this crazy ass message where I'm not gonna name names, but I got an email greeting where they was like Happy Black History Month, as if it was like Happy Kwanzaa or Merry Christmas. And a white person said this to me. I'm like, people, they really doing that? But I thought it was just me. But I put it on Twitter. A friend of mine told me that one of their executives sent them a Happy Black History Month. But the gag is, in the text message, they voiced it through Siri. They didn't even have the audacity to pander with their hands. Like, they didn't even care to pander, like, with their own digits of their fucking fingers. They, like, couldn't even write Happy Black History Month. They, like, told Siri to text it. And I guess for Apple users, because I don't have an Apple phone, I have an iPhone, but when you get a Siri notice, they tell you when Siri is via how the message is sent. So she got the notice that it was via Siri. I said, you know what? This is some bullshit. So this is what we dealing with, y'all. This is what we're dealing with in 2021. Motherfuckers are sending, they are sending Happy Black History Month text messages via Siri. White people done lost their damn mind, part 3016. I'm baffled. But not, because Black History Month has become really white people celebrating Black History Month. It's not even, like, I mean, I know there's Black people that go crazy about it, like they really go hype about it, and a lot of them are young, are older. I think a lot of them, some young people, I guess, do it, but I'm really seeing an older generation of Black people, but they really go up for Black History Month, like they're really into it. But, like, I'm just tired of the corniness of it, though. Like, it's always a picture of Frederick Douglass. It's always MLK. We just had MLK Day. I mean, not that MLK doesn't deserve more history, but it's like, it's always the same images, like Rosa Parks and videos of the civil rights movement. And, like, I'm just like, it's just corny. And it's not that the history is corny. It's just that how people celebrate it is corny. It feels like a pop quizzo. It's like a never-ending quizzo, like, for 28 days. Like, it's like Black History Trivia. Who was the first Black blah, 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 blah. It's like just so, like, we got to do it differently. I know there's people probably doing it differently, but I think the issue I'm having with it is that it's got incorporated. It's Black History Month Inc., where now everybody's doing the most. Like, can we talk a minute about these motherfucking Apple Watches? Now, Apple, I got the iPad Pro. I got the MacBook Pro. I don't have an iPhone because I don't need my stuff leaking. I got a fucking Apple Pencil. I got this damn thing that holds up that thing, these Apple products, SB cords and shit, extended cords and shit. I got all kind of little crazy little Apple gadgets. I got the magic pad. I got the magic mouse. I don't have a magic mic. But I have all this Apple shit, some of it. But I refuse to let go of my Android phone. You cannot make me Android baby all day, honey. Team Android all day. Don't get it fucking tripping. If Android had they probably do have a laptop, but I ain't gonna buy it. But if they had other things, maybe. But like I said, I love my Android phone. Anyway. Apple Apple got this collection, like the Black Unity collection that they got, with these horrible, god awful visuals on these watches that's like red, black, and green, and special limited edition. Who asked for this shit? My homeboy Damon Young from Very Smart Brothers, who does this, incredible blogs on The Root, basically dragged this, and I have to second it. Like, who out here? I mean, who out here asked for this watch? Did Van Jones ask for it? Did Sean King ask for it? You know how these people like to have proximity to blackness so to convince people they're black. I mean, Sean King specifically, but who asked for this damn Apple Watch? Because I didn't ask for it. I didn't. First of all, it's ugly as fuck. It's an ugly watch. Like, Google it. Like, look up this watch if you didn't know about this Apple Black History watch. And there's been a lot of backlash, and backlash behind these horrible watches in this little collection. It's tacky. It's terrible. And I'm just sitting here looking like nobody asked for this. But growing up, there's been all kinds of problematic things that have happened during Black History Month. I remember back in the day when I was in public school in Houston, Texas, when I was in middle school, even high school, first of all, we had one of the most racist cafeteria school menus in American fucking history. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Do anyone look at school district cafeteria menus? Like, do y'all still have that? I don't have any kids. I'm 29. Not that, I mean, there's people my age that have kids that are old enough. I mean, my mother, I was 8 years old when my mom was 29, so yeah. Or 9 at that point. She had me at 21. So, I was 8 years old, my mom. Yeah, at that age. So, yeah, I mean, my mom was probably looking at those cafeteria menus. But I remember when I was little, you used to be able to look at what the menu was. So, it would just be, sometimes it would just be very basic. It would be chicken and broccoli with fruit cup as dessert. Chocolate milk. It was just apple juice. It would just be so, very routine. But then it would have these special days. And listen, to my listeners who are listening to this, message me on social media. I know y'all like to shout me out and stuff in the stories. Please do. But in this part, can y'all confirm this if y'all have had this experience? Because I just don't want to feel lonely out here in these streets. But in my school district, Alief ISD, Alief Independent School District, that was where I was from. Southwest, SWAT. Anyway, random. So, in Southwest Alief, Texas, which is the SWAT where I grew up, we used to have these menus. And so they used to, on holidays, I don't know, holidays that were very, cultural, quote unquote, they would create a themed menu around it. And so Black History Month, they would have a Black History Month food. And so it was fried chicken and their version of fried chicken, which wasn't that good. But mac and cheese and green beans. It was very extra soulful. And it wasn't really good, but it was just very much something you would eat, or much better at on a Sunday supper type tip. Soul food. Their attempt to soul food. But of course, probably with laxatives and things in it. But anywho, I remember that. And I remember on Cinco de Mayo, they would do tacos and a Cinco de Mayo cup, whatever that shit was. It was just random. And they would do this for these holidays. And I remember, I don't remember what it was, but it was Chinese New Year. They did Chinese, these soggy ass egg rolls. It was bad, but I still remember that. And they would do this. And I wonder if school districts still do that. They try to make quote unquote cultural foods on those days that are fucking racist and just really never on par with the culture at all. It's baffling. But that was something that they would do. And so I'm scarred with this because when I used to work outside of media, I remember there was a white colleague of mine that wanted to have a Black History Month potluck. And they wanted to cook cultural foods that were Black known, that were revealed in the Black community, renowned, Black Eyed Peas and things. Let's just say this: the potluck didn't happen, but the mere fucking fact that they really thought that they were going to do a potluck, and they thought that myself. So in my team, it was two black people, myself and another black woman. We looked at each other like I was like, yeah, no, 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 no. We're not going to do this potluck, and we didn't do the potluck because I'm not about to eat someone else's potato salad. And second, like hello, seasoning, and listen, white people get mad when I say y'all can't season food. I'm just talking about the white people I've had experiences with. I know that there are some white people who can season food, but that's Mark Vetri. That's Michael Solomonov, who I love their food. They know how to season their food. Michael Solomonov seasons the fuck out of his food, but he makes like Israeli food and things like that. So it's like Israeli food has seasoning. Like people outside of the North American continental United States know how to season their food, or at least know of seasonings. Greg Vernick at Vernick, which is one of my favorite restaurants, knows how to season his food. And of course, my brother Chad over there at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Chad Williams, okay, Howard alum, brother knows how to season his food. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is my favorite restaurant in Philadelphia. It's completely number one at this point. But, Sahav, I got love for. Vernick, I have love for all of my other restaurant food purse people. But, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is my top spot. And it's in Rittenhouse, and it is dope as fuck. And he killing it. If y'all do not know about Chad Williams and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it is the best restaurant in Philadelphia. Right now, Philadelphia Magazine has ranked it number 2 under Soraya, which it is called Soraya, y'all. It's not Soraya. It's Soraya. Just letting y'all know right now, because I see some of y'all out here talking about Soraya. It is Soraya. That's how you pronounce it. Soraya. It's a Lebanon restaurant, and that's how the Lebanese pronounce it. Soraya. Soraya is the number 1 restaurant, and the people there season their food too. That food is well seasoned. But white people, though, some of y'all be, and let me tell you why I know this. I'm going to tell you why I say this. Because I have been taking up my own personal private steak cooking contests. Not contests, but mini cooking classes. I'm learning how to make a steak. I know how to make a steak, but I've been practicing that. And I don't know. I think I've been talking about this lately. But when I go on YouTube and try to figure out how to make I've been looking at different various steak recipes and different cooking. Y'all just sprinkle in salt and pepper. And I know that with a steak, you don't want to kill it with too much, but like, it just be salt and pepper. And I'm like, you got a little crushed peppercorn, a little, different little salts and little herbs, and don't forget that thyme and that rosemary. You can put a little bit of that season, a little Lawry's on there, make it do a little good. Add a little bit of that. Should be good. Add a little bit. Just give it a little bit more, succulence, tenderness, flavor. I don't know. I've been places. Listen, I know white people don't know how to bake. I've had some great. I know some black people. I know some white people that know how to bake really fucking well. I don't understand. How do you? I asked one of my white friends this, because y'all like to call us and ask black people questions. I ask black people questions. Shit, it goes both ways over here. Equal opportunity offender. I called up one of my white friends one time and I was like, so the energy that you put into baking, why don't you put that into the meat you season? No, really, like white people know how to bake. This girl, I know, she I'm not gonna call her out here, but she can bake her ass off. Pies, cookies, she got it. And she's really into it. She's like, I use a different type of vanilla extract. I use this almond, butter to give it this extra flavor and a caramelized. I mean, she's into it. But when she tries to cook her food, somehow when it comes to cooking non-desserts and pastries, she fails. And so I just, she's not a pastry chef. There's some great pastry chefs. I mean, Camille Cogswell or whatever Cogswell. She's used to be at Kafar. Oh my God. Her pastries are incredible. She's no longer in Philly now, but she kills it over there. She used to kill it over there at Kafar. She used to make some really good stuff. Like, oh my God. Really great stuff over there. But anyway, and she was on Forbes 30 Under 30 with me for class of 2020. So I'm always going to have a special place in my heart for her work. But anywho, what is with this lack of interest in seasoning meat and food? Pastries, yes, but food, no. Interesting. So again, I digress. That being said, the attempts for Black History Month has been a mess. You get, I mean, if we're already in Black History Month, so at this point, we're in the early weeds of it. You've already been seen probably a bunch of visual graphics that are there. I saw one company in Philadelphia that had put up a Happy Black History Month, and they fucked up because they forgot that on the graphic they didn't switch out the year. So except for it saying 2021, it said 2020. So that just shows me how much y'all don't give a fuck about us. Not that y'all did before, but like y'all not even trying. Like y'all like, what's in the deck? Pull that graphic out. Y'all just dated stuff and corny quotes and MLK quotes that you used for MLK Day. Y'all just said we're just gonna throw it in Black History Month. We don't give a fuck. I mean, the gestures are so token. You know what this reminds me of? Because like everybody's doing this shit. Grubhub out here got some deal with the Weekend, talking about discounts on Black restaurants with the Weekend. Really? The shucking, the well, he's not shucking and jiving, but the pandering, the pandering. Like, are we serious? Like, I mean, Uber Eats is back on their bullshit. I mean, this reminds me of, like, first of all, I thought that after the racial reckonings of the summer of last year, that white folks were going to come more correct with this Black History Month shit. Like, I really thought that, like, okay, after you all kind of pretty much, like, fucked up everything that we was doing, deciding to, like, make this a big ass 1 month extravaganza, that after all of those woke book clubs y'all did, after all of those movies that y'all watched, those documentaries y'all watched, and those anti-racism books y'all read, and all of these lectures and these speaking engagements y'all paid me to do, which thank you for the check. After all of that, I thought to myself, well, they're gonna still cut up, but they were gonna cut up a little better. I was wrong. So far, y'all back on y'all bullshit, starting with Apple and these other companies out here doing the same damn thing. And it's crazy because you even got some black folks like Daniel Cameron, that fucking mess over there, who's the attorney general who did not, I repeat, did not bring justice for Breonna Taylor. And he's a black man, but that Republican, he's a Republican. All of them, Tim Scott, all of them, traitors, treacherous, just treacherous. But he wanted to get his ass up there and do a video, and Rihanna had to call him out. My fave, Rihanna. Like, what's up? Like, like, are you serious? You doing a video on Black History Month? They all did the same thing with MLK Day. It's like, y'all out here, like, we don't keep receipts. Like, we don't know what's going on. Like, we can't smell the bullshit a mile away. It's just been interesting. It's been a revelation. It's just become more shit on top of shit. I don't get it. I don't get it. We've done a lot. And again, like I said, it reminds me of Pride Month, except that, hell, I mean, at least with Pride Month, you saw more, queer people, more white queer people, have more, at least, presence in it. But the corporations just make it a holiday with it. And they do dumb stuff that no one asks for. I mean, they're selling shit to us that we don't need, like that Apple Watch, because I'm just going to keep trashing the Apple Watch. They sell stuff to us that we don't need. They're too busy trying to promote some other project to us, but trying to repackage it something else. It's just become a marketing scheme. And that's why I just really don't want corporations celebrating Black History Month. Because, to be honest, what are we celebrating? I mean, what are we really celebrating? Black History Month, to me, I first of all, I celebrate the shit 365, 7 days a week, like living history. To me, I just think that for Black people, like, history is very subjective. I mean, it exists, let me be clear, but like how we know our history and how it's been taught to us. And I just think it's something weird about celebrating white people at a time where they are the people who've distorted our history. So, like, how do you celebrate a holiday like this with people who have actively continued to distort your story and exploit your story? And that's why I think I'm very uncomfortable with even celebrating Pride Month with, you know, especially cishet white people, because it's like you've actively tried to erase queer people from the conversation. You've tried to erase trans people from the conversation. You create policies that still don't liberate us. And yet you want to come out to our parades and wear these rainbow shirts and we talk all this about allyship, and I moments like this, I just want you just to back the fuck up. You know, it's part of, again, like, my Wakanda is not your forever. It's not yours, and it's okay to, like, I want respect. That's what I want. I don't want a greeting. I don't want a trivia day. I don't want you to sell anything to me. I just want respect. That's it. White people make things so difficult. They want to come up with all these ways to express themselves. I mean, this is the same shit we had during the Black Lives Matter protests in the summer. Like, they want so much to, like, declare their awareness, their wokeness. And I'm like, go somewhere and do that with somebody else. I don't want white people that only want to be outspoken amongst the presence of Black people. I want white people that do that shit when we're not around. And I want them to do it because they need to do it, because it's the right thing to do, not because they want brownie points. One of my biggest pet peeves, and this conversation came up, one of my biggest pet peeves is white people that feel the need to tell Black people of all the times they curse out their racist family members, or, separate themselves from a racist coworker. I don't care. I really don't. Just do it, like Nike says. Seriously. Like, I mean, could you imagine, like, walking around, like, as a man, as a person who considers themselves a feminist, walking around and telling women about all the times I told men they were trash? That's corny as fuck. I mean, I think it's one thing to sometimes speak up louder and publicly about it, right? Like, I do that. But it's also important that you keep that same energy in private quarters. Like, when I go to the barbershop and I hear men in the room saying things about women that's not okay, like, I'm in that room like, yo, knock that off. Like, that's not okay. And I use that as a place sometimes to educate. Because I know how many women have had to debate men that they're smarter than about shit that's just asking for their humanity. So I want white people, the white people that listen to this show, to do the educating for me when I'm not getting paid to do it, and when I'm also not around. Because it's very weird to me when I see certain followers of mine on social media have mutual white friends or followers or whatnot, and then this person act like they didn't know something, but you knew it, so tell them. But it's not my job to. We all got to help each other. I'll do my part in my way for the things that I know to be true, right? When it comes to sexism and misogyny and rape culture, because that's just what I do. And I don't know, I'm just so caught up in wanting to be a good person that I don't feel the need to feel like I have to announce every single time I've done those said things. And that's what I get annoyed with white people, is that it's the performance for me. It's the performativeness. Trust me, Black people know when you about that life. They do. We all do. Just like when women can sense men who mean well and men who don't, right? Black people have an intuition too. Queer people do too. Like, I know when I feel safe around certain cishet people. And I know when I don't feel safe. I know. Like, it's not about words. I hear people say stuff all the time. I don't have problems with gay people. Yes, you fucking do. Some of these people who say this. You do. You do, because of the way you look at me or my partner, the way that you change up your tune when we're walking in public, or if I'm in a room, or if I come in a room, or if another straight person come in a room, how energy changes and how things shift. And if you don't feel comfortable, that says something. It says something. Doth thy lady protest too much? Or is it a situation of half-assedness, ulterior motives. I have realized that there has been a lot of cishet people in my life that not in my personal life, but my professional life, that I've come to realize tolerate me because they see the possessions that I have and the influence that I have. And so they are okay or give off the signal that they can be okay being in my presence because they see me as an ends to a mean. And for successful Black queer people like myself who are in these spaces, we oftentimes know this is true and tolerate it anyway for acceptance. And over the years, I have gotten rid of that. But I mean, it's hard. Acceptance is a drug. Human nature, we want to feel included. But it's not real acceptance though, right? Because you find out that these people are not going to have your real back. That temporary satisfaction that you give them is transactional. And that all of this is a facade. And I've come to learn over the years as I've navigated my career and have begun to see people sometimes for the trash they are, that it's not that many people out there who truly get it. I mean, there's people that mean well, and the mean well people are always difficult because you got two types of people. You have in this quote unquote good people box. You have people with good intentions who can't help themselves. There's somebody that I've known for several years, for like 10 years. I'm not going to call him out, but I've known this person for at least 10 years, straight guy. And we, okay, I'll say it like this. I'm talking too much. So my barber, who we're very cordial. We have a good relationship. He's coming to my wedding. I know that in spite of his kindness towards myself, that he values me, he respects me, but I know that I'm an exception to that rule as a queer person rather than the rule in general, if that makes sense. And I think that there's a lot of people like that with me because of this quote unquote exceptionalism, and that I'm the gay friend. And I don't think it's intentional in a way that they mean it to be that way, but I think that actions sometimes speak louder than words. I've seen straight people who don't talk to any other gay person but me. And that's not to say that they are going out their way, but it's just that it puts a burden on queer people like myself because we have to be the encyclopedia for everything. And I don't ever want to be in a situation where I want to be the token gay person. Now, granted, people have a life and people just, you get older, your friend circle gets small, whatever. But there are some people that I know that like, it's. And let me say this. I think some people don't choose to pick friends based on, I need to have a quota number of gay friends. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are people who tell me that, so I'm getting too personal here. When I was a single guy out here in these Philly streets, I was dealing with some guys, not all of the guys I dealt with was like this, but there were, as they would put it, trade. Everybody, Google trade if you know what trade is, but okay, short term. Trade is a term, and people are going to start using this, and they're going to get it wrong. And if you say it in front of me and you fuck up, first of all, if you're not in the LGBTQ community, do not say trade. I don't want to hear that term. Don't say DL. Just stop using those words. Mind your business. But for this moment, let me just put this in context. So trade are guys who are discreet about their sexuality. They don't necessarily identify with a sexual orientation per se, or they sometimes do. Sometimes they just say they're straight, they lie, but they don't oftentimes want to associate a sexual identity. But their actions are pretty much, their sexuality is either bisexual or gay, but they don't necessarily identify themselves directly as. And there could be various reasons: self-hate, confusion, curiosity. It's a lot of things that may shape it. But they also stereotypically are unassuming. So these are people, and I hate saying this, but sometimes you gotta call a spade a spade. These are people that people don't stereotypically would assume is gay. And also, too, with trade, people say, what's the difference between trade and DL? Well, DL men are men who actively seek to have sex with the same sex, while also living duplicit lives where they're married or dating another woman. Basically, that's DL, like culture. Trade isn't necessarily DL. These are men who are, hey, they may not even be with um, one woman, or maybe they're not really disclosing what their sexual orientation is. Or they're just, again, it's a discreetness to it, Um, I'm trying to think of famous people that's been trade. Well, fun fact: if they're trade, you wouldn't know. Okay, so I mean that's the fun part. So I can't even give you an example because trade is like there's ambiguity, so you can't really spot trade. I mean, some of y'all in your head might have your own people you think, but child, please. So that being said, this whole phenomenon around trade. So to my larger point, what would happen was with these guys is that I would talk to trade, and I mean, 9 times out of 10, I never got in situations where I wanted to have a committed relationship. I was very clear on that. Now I had my emotional moments where I was writing 5-page letters like the late Aaliyah and getting my feelings and having some love and hip hop type drama where, I was expecting more than what I was being told. And we all make those mistakes out there. But see, I was making those mistakes when I was like 19, 20. Some of y'all out here in y'all 30s and 40s still out here making these dumbass mistakes. And I don't understand. Okay, read the room. One thing I'll tell you about men and women in general, just any gender, people are going to do what they want to do to fuck regardless. That is something I've learned from, I had to learn over the years, but people are going to do what they want to do regardless. Like, there are people who sit up all day and say, oh, I'm in this relationship, and being in this relationship, well, I'll put it this way. There are people who will be a stone cold dog and just fuck everything walking and do what they want to do. And then they meet a person that they like and they say, or they really like, and they're like, look, I'm with this person. I'm faithful to this person. Hey, that's because attraction is how it works. There are some people that, feel like they have to push a square and a round peg. And I think there's a cultural slut shaming around that. And I think that happens with a lot of women where I think about some of my homegirls where they feel like every guy they meet, they have to make him a boyfriend. I'm like, you don't have to do that. It's the new era. You don't have to turn everybody into a boyfriend. I mean, granted, if you want something serious, go for something serious. But sometimes every person you meet ain't meant to be that way. I learned that when I was single. Like, every guy I met, I was like, no, yeah. When I first started, I thought that was supposed to be, because that was how we was, trained. It was like, you meet somebody, you're supposed to like them, and then it's supposed to be a boyfriend or somebody serious. And then you realize, you know what, this was just a good fuck. And that was all it was. Or maybe it was just casual sex. Maybe this was just a hookup, and that's all it was supposed to be. And that's all it needed to be. And then everybody went home happy. There was a happy ending. But society sometimes, because of pressures and identity and slut shaming, all this bullshit, you got people out here trying to make relationships with people who are not clearly they supposed to be having a relationship with. Like, this is not somebody you should be with. You're only trying to pursue this because you're afraid that if you dump them and get with somebody else, everyone's judging you. Well, listen, everybody got their own motherfucking business to be paying attention to. If you know. And so one thing I'll say about myself is that I didn't get too caught up. I had some moments like everybody else. But once I started to be self-aware of that, I started to realize, look, it is what it is. I wasn't going to ever be dating anyone who's in a relationship with somebody else. I didn't do that shit, okay? Let's be very clear. There's no home wrecking over here. And even if it wasn't my relationship or my home, me being in the mix, it's just like, what does that say for me? Karma's a bitch. I don't want to be someone that do that to somebody and that happens to me. Respect people's relationships. Have respect for yourself. If it belongs to somebody else, let them belong to somebody else. And if they want you, they got to break up with the other person. They try to fuck with you. I'm not for that whole this culture. See, being a hoe is a different story. Okay, being a hoe. See, people got slut shit. Let me tell you something. If you are messing with somebody else's partner in their relationship, you a hoe. Leave them the fuck alone. If you messing with them, you a hoe. That's not slut shaming. That's hoe shaming. And hoe shaming is okay if you're doing some hoe ass shit. So don't mess with somebody else's partner. Just don't. I've had friends who've had experiences where people was out here doing that stuff. That's a hoe. Now, slut shaming people that just out here just having sex, consensual sex, safe sex with people that they are in an accordance with, that ain't nothing. That ain't none of your business. If that's what they do and they are safe and they are fine, they healthy and they are doing what is consensual and what's right, that is their business. That's none of your business. That's not your body. That's not your problem. Okay. So I'm all for people being liberated. What I'm not here for is hoes getting a break. No. Okay? Sexual liberation, yes. Hoeing, no. We don't do that. No. Being a sex worker does not make you a hoe. That sex workers is a part of the sexual liberation box. Just for clarity. Okay? Being a stripper is not a hoe. That's sex work. That's what you're doing to pay your bills and you're in a safe environment and it's consensual. That's fine. That's not a hoe. See, everybody want to call everything a hoe other than what a hoe is. A hoe is somebody who's messing with somebody else's partner in their relationship. That's a hoe. That's disgraceful. You shouldn't do that. Especially if you know. If you know, shame on you. If you don't know, damn, shit happens. You didn't know, so you can't be a hoe because you didn't know. And the person who's partaking in it, they're a hoe too. If you cheated in your relationship, you a hoe too. Cheaters are hoes too. That's hoeology. So back to trade. Dealing with trade back then, I used to be in situations where they would tell me I was special and that I was the only one and that it was me specifically who was of interest to them. That they wasn't like they weren't into anyone else but me. That I was the only guy that they were interested in. So it was like a unique experience. They had never done it before, they claimed. They all say that. They're lying. But they all have these first-time experiences that they claim, right? Like a dog be dogging. Like they be lying. But anyway, that was a narrative. And so you would feel like you're this exceptional person. Like, well, we have, no one else has because, we're doing this together. That was the narrative. That was the narrative that had been told to so many, okay, queer people. So, yeah. Don't fall for the exceptionalism, y'all. I do too. I don't like that. Like when people say, "Oh, you're the only gay guy I would talk to." That's not cool. That doesn't flatter me. I know there's some white people who've told me stuff like that. So you're not like the other ones. Excuse me? The who? The what? Mm-mm. None of that is cool. And when I was younger, I used to hear shit like that when I was in school. Kids in my class would act out and do things and they would do the whole, like the rest of the boys. And I get it because other boys were like rough and rowdy and stuff in the class, but I didn't like the comparisons because it was perpetuating stereotypes. And so we have to be just mindful of that. Like that when it comes to generalizations about people's sexual orientation or racial identity. Now, if you tell me I'm not the other journalists, you damn fucking right. I'm not like the other journalists. But comparing people, racial identities and things, stay out of that if you're in a position of privilege. That being said, one sidebar, because I posted this on social media and it started a wildfire. This conversation around straight women. Okay. Let me say this and let me get this very loud and clear. Straight women, y'all know I love you. Most of you. Some of you, like Candace Owens and Tommy Lauren, I don't really like you and I don't support you. But to the rest of the women out there, love you. I had to sip on my tea for this. And I've been sipping on tea the entire time, by the way. So it's not cold. Well, that sip was a little chilly. But anywho, straight women, love y'all. Love y'all when y'all right. Appreciate y'all when y'all do the right thing. And when y'all not doing the most. Not pandering us and doing the yes and slide when y'all not doing that shit. Love y'all. But what y'all need to stop doing, and this is a lot of people do this, and I don't know if they mean to do it, do not compare me to your gay cousin, friend, colleague, person you remember in school, person you know. Don't tell me I remind you of them. Don't compare me to them. Stop it. Full fucking stop. The next time that happens to me, I'm going to compare you to somebody I know and you're not going to like it. And I might make a person up out of my ass. I'm like, you remind me of my cousin Shawanda. You remind me of my old white friend Tammy. Tammy that used to live in Texas. You remind me of Tammy. Like, don't do that. Don't tell me I remind you of your gay friend back in the day named Leon or what y'all, all the gays. Like, there are like names, there are like gay people that have a certain, like, I know a bunch of gay guys named Ian. I know a bunch of gay guys named Adam. I know a bunch of gay guys named Brandon. Like, don't everybody know a gay Brandon? Like, I feel like there's like names that's like very like gay. Like, Ernest is not a gay name. I don't know any Ernests that are gay. I mean, there might be other Ernests that are gay. I mean, but there's just certain names that I just feel like when I hear it, I'm like, you know, someone gay named that. Like, I know a lot of gay guys named Jeremy. See, y'all laughing right now, but that it's true. Everybody know a gay Jeremy, a gay Brandon, a gay Ian. You know, I just feel like I know. I mean, I just feel like there's like certain names that are like just gay. Even Reggie, there's a couple of gay Reggies. And Leon, a lot of Leons. Yeah. Thinking about a couple right now in my head. So, that being said, don't compare me. Don't compare me. Don't tell me I remind you. Don't do that. That's like not cool. I'm not flattered by it. It's not cute. It makes me feel like an alien. You're making me feel like I'm an endangered species in the wild. Like, don't do that. It's tacky. I remember somebody told me I reminded him of Billy Porter. Bitch, where? I'm sorry. I just had to say that. Bitch, where? And I didn't say it about her because it was actually a guy who told me this. A guy had told this to me. And this older guy, and I was at the barbershop, and I was just like, excuse me? Not Billy Porter. Not Billy Porter is old enough to be my daddy. How? Really? And the category, like, don't do that. Don't do it. And the category is stop it. Cut the fuck up. Cut the fuck out. Knock it off. So I get that. And also, this is the other one. And I gotta say this too. I'm just gonna put it all on the table today. I mean, clearly this episode is just me going off. But I just really have to say this too. Stop playing matchmaker. Just because you know another gay person and you know me, and this is before I was single. I mean, this is before I was taken. I used to have friends of mine, not anyone in my close circles now. So a lot of these girls I've cut off. We called them something that rhymed with hag, but I won't say the other word. You know the rest. But that's what they called them. And you can't say that word. Straight people, you can't say that word. If you know what the word is, you know what the word is. But I have fruit flies. I don't have those. But anywho, this girl was like, oh, I know this guy who I think might be good for you. Why is it that the moment you see one gay guy, you think automatically that your other gay friend is a match? And then this is when they killed it for me. They said, they remind you remind me of them. Honey, if I remind you of them, that means that 9 times 10 we're not a match, both sexually or probably personally. I'm going for the opposite of me. They just be out here pairing bottoms and tops like that shit works. And if you don't know what a top and a bottom yet in 2021, use a dictionary. Please stop acting like you don't know. I can't stand when straight dudes be like, what's that? I never heard that. Shut up, you heard of it. You know you watch porn that's wild. You know you be skipping through looking at paddle videos. You know you like to get your ass ate. Ooh! Okay, I'm doing too much. But there's a lot of guys out here that be trying to act like they don't know this stuff. What's the top? What's the bottom? Reminder, this show has an E on it, and not just for Ernest, but for explicit content. You was warned. The E was not for Ernest. It was for explicit. This is an adult podcast. So, I don't even know where we started. But I just want to say, RIP to Greyhound, y'all. Greyhound is stopping its operations after over 30,000 yeast. It's been a long ass time. Greyhound used to be the shit. And it used to be shit and it used to be the shit, okay? Going down south, I don't know if y'all saw my sneak peek episode, which go back if you have never listened to Ernest Speaking and you're a newbie, go back and listen to the sneak peek episode, which talks about my life in full detail. It's a great episode. But but back, Greyhound, I used to go to Marianna, Arkansas. I used to go to Arkansas, um, Texarkana, y'all. That border between Texas and Arkansas. I used to go to Greyhound, take the Greyhound from Texas to Arkansas to see my grandma. And sometimes my family would drive too, but sometimes I have to take the Greyhound. But those were the days. Let me say, the Greyhound was long and slow as shit. I used to miss those pit stops. I used to have that nasty ass, food that was, at the gas stops, and sometimes you get a really, really nice one that was really made for pit stops when you were just driving across the great big old open plains of America. And you could tell you was in Yonderville because those certain gas station stops would be real nice and spacious. And there would be like a food court down the road. And they used to be just so, I used to be so excited when we used to make those pit stops because, you first of all, you get to stretch your legs and get to get air because you used to get Charlie horsing on those damn things. And I remember there used to be like a rallies and all these little spots with these nasty ass hot dogs that was full of nothing but sodium and water. Oh, those are the memories. And people used to get kicked off the bus for fighting and drama. And oh, those were the days. But the pandemic really killed the business. And so Greyhound is like pretty much dead. So RIP to Greyhound. I really miss you all. Y'all were good when y'all were good. I was telling y'all not to invest in that GameStop shit. You see, Robinhood and took it off the market. GameStop is done. Stocks are tanking. And y'all ran up there and bought it, trying to be little Wall Street. Now, some people got some wins. There was a adorable young kid who got some stock a long time ago and was able to cash in and get a couple of $1,000s. And the story was in the New York Times, this young black kid, and it was very impressive. Shout out to him. He was smart. His parents are smart. But a lot of y'all out here trying to get rich quick, leave some of that alone. Not saying that you shouldn't invest in stock, but some of y'all let GameStop be your first time investing. You lost big. Cut that out. People say, what do you think about the Trey Songz video leaking? I don't give a fuck about Trey Songz leaking anything. The man is accused of sexual assault and abuse and harassment, all kind of shit, and y'all just let that shit slide. Trey Songz is weird. I'm not a fan anymore. Been not a fan with that Billy Goat gruff vocals. He sounds like a goat. Overrated, just a mess, and an attention-seeking whore. Did he just get in some shit fighting at a game or some shit now? A sex tape leak? Interesting. Furthermore, it's interesting how people was fawning over him and thirsting over him, but y'all won't let Chloe, who's a part of the group Chloe and Haley, live because the girl out here trying to live her best life. She's a grown-ass woman in love with her body, and y'all won't let her be great. Sexism and misogynoir because they're black. Apparently Fox News ratings are tanking now, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Is it that them do alternative competitors? They're saying that Fox News ratings are tanking. Okay, now that Trump's out of office, looks like they're going down too. They're about to be out of office. They got some competitors, these crazy groups, News One and the other one that they got out there, these other crazy conservative networks that are out here pushing this crazy radical content that is white supremacist content, let me be clear. But people out here are losing it. I mean, I remember when Fox News used to be the channel. I'm going to tell y'all a fun fact. I used to watch growing up Bill O'Reilly when I was little, because I was in speech and debate, and everybody around me used to be hype about this. And so I don't know. When he was a no spin zone before all them crazy accusations about him, countless, he is nasty. He wanted to do something with falafel or something he wanted to do. And one of the reports, Bill O'Reilly a creep, but he still got a podcast, white privilege. But apparently, I remember the days when Fox News was like on top of it, but apparently their ratings are slipping. And it's been interesting lately because there's been a rise with Newsmax and OAN. OAN and Newsmax has been there, and people have been talking about this, that Fox News is losing its grip for far-right conservative viewers to Newsmax and OAN. And everyone's talking about they're in big trouble. Like, they're seeing some real competition. Well, because people, listen, this is me putting on my lovely USC Annenberg School of Communication and Journalism card. Confirmation bias is a bitch. People go out here, they go for what they want to hear. And I've talked about this before, but it's what they do. They go out here striving to get news that basically tells them what they want to hear. People are no longer interested in the raw truth. There are some people, but a lot of these viewers is Fox News started it, and they've gotten outfoxed and outsmarted once again, and it's bullshit, yo. It's wild, but like that's what they did. What's happening is that Fox News facilitate the crazies until another station found out what the tea was and said we're gonna up it up notch. Now what Newsmax and O&A is doing is pandering conspiracy theories and crazy shit. Now Fox, even though they don't have any standards, they have some level of standards, and that standard, even if their bar is on the ground, their bar is not 6 feet below. O&A and Newsmax, these competitors, they are. And what's crazy is that Comcast and some of your favorite dish networking stations are out here providing people, is running that shit. So you need to call your local providers. I know for Comcast, I believe Newsmax is the one that they have. And that is disgusting. Like, we have that as a cable provider. And then y'all wonder why the information is the way it is? Because y'all are allowing channels like that to be on air for people to watch and consume? Take that shit off the air. Make people have to pay for it. Kind of like what happened with Parler for 5 seconds. It's just a lot of stuff like that that's going on that just is concerning. Just concerning. So, the Golden Globe nominations. Y'all know I like pop culture. I think a couple episodes ago, last week, I was talking about how, people wanted me to one day have an entertainment podcast stuff. And I was like, no, I like talking about serious shit. But I just want to have a moment about these Golden Globe nominations. Can we just, first of all, there were more black people on TV than just Don Cheadle and John Bodega. Oh, John Boyega, not Bodega. Sorry, Florian slip. He was in the show Small Axe. He's got nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a mini-series for the Golden Globes, that nomination that just recently came out. I don't know what was going on with these TV nominations, but there was only like 2 black actors who got nominated this year in the TV categories. Don Cheadle for Black Monday, which is an incredible show on Showtime. He also was nominated for that show House of Lies, which was also a big hit on Showtime. And, he's just a great actor. It's underrated. But colorism and people that's so caught up in dark-skinned men having to be super sexy, because I guess I don't think Don Cheadle is sexy. Don Cheadle looks good. I think he's cute. But, there are people who, it's just like black actors like him just don't get a break. I mean, he deserves. I mean, Idris Elba out here gets stuff. He got a Gold Globe himself for his performance in the show Luther that came out a couple years ago, which was a really good show. But Don Cheadle deserves too. And then, John Boyega was great in Small Axe. But like, what happened to Lovecraft Country cast? Like, they got nominated for Best Drama, but they didn't win anything. And P-Valley, which was like one of my favorite shows, didn't get nominated for anything except at the NAACP Image Awards. The movie categories were interesting. Chadwick Boseman got a posthumous nomination for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Viola Davis got nominated for that too, which was awesome. But that was it. The movie didn't even get nominated, which is messed up. Regina King got a nomination for Best Director, second black female director to ever be nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Director. Ava DuVernay was first nominated for Selma. Again, that movie didn't get nominated for Best Picture. Leslie Odom Jr., who was a breakout in that film, I was talking about last episode. He was great, got nominated. And guess who else got nominated? And I told you, Daniel Kaluuya and Judas and the Messiah. Let me tell you something. I keep talking about this movie. It's going to be on Netflix soon. It's about the Black Panthers. Daniel Kaluuya is the front runner, in my opinion, for Best Supporting Actor. Y'all better give him his gods. I see it for him. But everybody saying about Leslie Odom Jr. might get it. And here's the thing. I like Leslie Odom Jr., okay? He's a Tony Award-winning actor, who killed Hamilton, okay? Lin Miranda, or whatever his name is, did not have a candlestick. They try to make it, no. Aaron Burr by Leslie Odom Jr. was phenomenal, and that's why he won Best Actor in the Lead Role in a Musical for it at the Tonys. And people was like, why did Lin Miranda lose? Because fucking Leslie Odom was awesome. And if you don't believe me, watch the Disney Plus. They put a screen adaptation up, not screen, a movie adaptation. It was basically they recorded the musical and they put it up, which is weird because it's now nominated for Best Musical Film, even though it was not done as a motion picture. It was done more as a recorded. I don't know what the fuck they were doing there with that. And then Lin Miranda got nominated for Best Actor. Leslie Odom Jr. should have got another nomination, but they won't be great. And what about Renee and Paulina and the other actors, the actresses in Hamilton? But the Golden Globes are so weird. This is a place that's got Adam Schoenberg or whoever nominated for an award. Fucking, oh my God, James Corden for The Prom. Are we serious? Is this real life? Did anyone see The Prom? It was horrible. It was horrible. I'm sitting here looking like, how? Where? How did that happen? How did The Prom get nominated? James Corden in The Prom? And he also got nominated for Best Musical Film, Comedy Film. Crap. And then Ratchet. Let's not even talk about Ratchet. Sophia Okonedo. Sophie, she is awesome. The black woman, for those, in Ratchet, where Sarah Paulson got nominated, and Cynthia Nixon did too, and that was good for them, but come on. Shout out to the women who were nominated for Best Director. There was 3 women nominated for Best Director, including an Asian film director named Chloe Zhao, who did incredible work for Nomadland, which is getting a lot of buzz. A lot of people think it is the best picture frontrunner at the Oscars next to Mank, which I don't even get. Mank is boring. It's a Hollywood movie about Hollywood. Wasn't excited for that. I was shocked that who got snubbed? Oh my God. Delroy Lindo in The Five Bloods got snubbed for Best Actor. Again, very disappointed, very pissed off. He was awesome in it. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. I mean, Chadwick Boseman is incredible in it too. Could have gotten a Best Supporting Actor nomination. And why did Jared Leto get a nomination for The Little Things? Which, by the way, love Denzel, but that movie was trash. Okay, Rami Malek was in it, and they had 3 lead actors in it, and it was still trash. And Jared Leto getting nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He always plays someone crazy. I was not here for that movie. That movie was just such a drag. Ugh, not a fan. Big disappointment. Looking forward to Malcolm and Marie, which is featuring Zendaya and Denzel Washington's son, David John Washington, who was an incredible actor. I mean, he was in, that Spike Lee movie, another good Spike Lee movie, which I was very happy that Spike Lee had won an Oscar, a competitive Oscar for. But got snubbed for The Five Bloods. The Five Bloods got no Golden Globe nominations. But you know what? I tell people with these type of award shows, wait for the Emmys and the Oscars to make the decision. Golden Globes has always been a shit show. They never really, they just always are all over the place with their nominations. It's never enough. But I'm super excited about this movie, the February's movies. We got, Netflix is, I gotta say, Netflix is killing it. Netflix is trying to do something. John David Washington is not bad looking. His father is Denzel Washington, of course. His mother's Pauletta. I went to school with his younger brother, Malcolm Washington. Interesting enough. I think we took some cinema studies classes together and some stuff. I think he's now really trying to pursue that. I didn't know too much about him. I just seen him a couple of times, and I think he was in a fraternity called Theos, and I used to see him at parties. Chill guy, standoffish guy. He used to do basketball. Wasn't really good at Penn, but that's another story for another day. But anywho, BlacKkKlansman was a great film. I really wanted David John Washington to get nominated for Best Actor. It didn't happen. John David Washington. That's such a very plain name. Maybe I just didn't want people to know that he was in something growing up. Who knows? He's 36, was born in LA, and he's killing it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, sidebar before I forget this. Shout out to Glenn Close for being nominated for Hillbilly Elegy. Elegy or whatever. Fuck, it's late. I love Glenn Close. I've been wanting Glenn Close to get an Oscar for a long time. There are only two white women in Hollywood that I want to get an Oscar. Still, everybody else can. If they don't get one, I don't care. Because everybody else, every other white actress that I think is talented has won one. Glenn Close and who? Amy Adams. I don't know what it is. Why these women have been getting nominated year after year, time after time, and keep getting snubbed. Amy Adams, I don't know what she's got to do at this point. I don't know what role she has to play. She's played a drug addict. She's played a nun. She's played a hillbilly. She's played a woman in outer space in the super sci-fi film genres. She's played women who, were a part of cults. I mean, she's been in every fucking thing. I mean, Junebug, Doubt. Oh my goodness. The Fighter, The Master, Arrival. Gosh, she's Enchanted. She was great in Enchanted. Oh my goodness. Why? Why? What does it take? What does it take? What does it take for her to get her guts? She's was an American Hustle. I mean, Sharp Objects. Like, why is this woman not getting any type of gold? I remember she was in this other great biopic that I really liked. I mean, she's been in some great films, y'all. I mean, Big Eyes. Big Eyes was really good. Her. Julia and Julia with Meryl Streep. I mean, she's done like 2 films with Meryl Streep. But y'all won't give her gots. Nope. Y'all won't give her gots. She keeps giving you all great performances. Great performances. And y'all keep giving her your ass to kiss. Just saying. She's been doing this. I mean, her first Oscar nomination was in 2006 for Junebug. So she's been getting nominated countless times, like about 7-something nominations for over the past 15 years. Just killing the game. And Glenn Close deserves. And a lot of people don't like the Hillbilly movie. They thought it wasn't good. They thought it was a stereotype. But Glenn Close played the fuck out that character. Her accent, her energy, her tenacity. She did it. And I think she deserves. The best supporting actress category is alright. I mean, everybody's talking about Amanda Seyfried or whatever for that movie Mank, which is so dry and white and boring. But Glenn Close deserves. And after Olivia Colman, who's also nominated for Best Supporting Actress, who just keeps getting nominated, even though I think she's a little overrated in my opinion. I mean, The Crown was good, but she wasn't a standout. I mean, the actress who played Princess Diana, who actually got nominated, was. And then also that girl in The Queen's Gambit got nominated, which is very good too. But anywho, I also Little Fires Everywhere wasn't even nominated, and Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon ate that. But Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman for The Undoing got nominated, which I get. I did like The Undoing, I must say. It was pretty good. But I don't know if it was that good. But anyway, Olivia Colman took the prize, the Oscar that Glenn Close should have gotten for The Wife a couple years ago. Remember when everyone thought it was going to be between her and Gaga, and Olivia Colman came out of nowhere with The Favourite and took it? Even though The Favourite was a pretty good damn movie. Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz, good movie. I'm not going to hold you. Bestie and I, Jamarcus, saw it at the Ritz and fell in love with it instantly. It's a good movie. It was really good. But Glenn Close, we saw it at the Ritz 3 times. Each time took me for a loop. It's a character study. Like, if you have not seen The Wife, find it. It's somewhere on one of the streaming sites. But Glenn Close's burning tension in that film. You can study her and follow her. What she doesn't say, she says a lot. You feel the tension rising, and the climax and the shocking ending took me. Oh, that's acting. Okay, Glenn Close has done that, and she has the fucking range. I don't know if you saw Actors on Actors with Pete Davidson and Glenn Close, which I don't. I mean, it was cute and funny, but like Glenn Close is a legend. Don't have Pete fucking Davidson interviewing her, but it was fun. She did her thing, and she also revealed that she kept all of her 101 Dalmatians costumes and 102 because in her contract there was a clause for her to keep the costumes, and she says they currently are in some university. Somewhere, like casually there. But I'm like, girl, can I have one of those costumes? I mean, they're iconic. And if she put them for charity, they would make a lot of money. So yeah, there's that. So to wrap up, because I have to wrap up on a petty note. Well, first of all, before I do, Salento, 23 years old, charged with murdering his cousin, y'all. What the fuck? Remember that guy? Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay. Now he's out here whipping behind bars. Just a lot. Just thoughts and prayers to that man. Okay, wrapping this up with something petty because y'all really wanted my thoughts on this, and like I said, I wasn't gonna talk about Trey Songz because I don't give a fuck about Trey Songz, but I have to talk about Chrissy Teigen. Okay, she's married to a Penn alum that I have a lot of respect for, and I know, even though his music sounds like hotel music sometimes, John Legend. Okay, which I'm thinking, okay, let me just say this out loud. Y'all are like listening to the show. I'm wondering if I want my wedding song to be John Legend's All of Me, because it came out the year Barry and I were a couple. 2014 is when we became official on Facebook and all that. And it's by John Legend, who's a Penn alum. And it's a beautiful song, and yeah. So I don't know. I like the song. I've been listening to it lately. I'm like, this was a very good song. I know he wrote for Chrissy Teigen, but she's so annoying. So I don't know if y'all been following this Twitter madness around her because she's always going viral for something stupid. But she, the thing about her is that she just tries too hard. And I'm all for people trying. But girl, she be trying too hard. And a lot of times, it just be a lot going on. But she tries hard. And this time around, she decided that she was going to, she did this thread during the pandemic talking about what's the most expensive thing you've ever eaten that you thought sucked? That was a good, first of all, that's something you talk to your friends about privately. I don't know why she put this on social. For me, the answer is like caviar. I've had caviar some places, and I was just like, I'm not against caviar, but I'm not pressed to buy it. I remember my mom used to always be like, it's fish eggs. Oh yeah. I don't care for caviar. Caviar's okay. But if you gave me caviar, I'll eat it. But I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Apparently Wendy Williams loved caviar. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because it's a thing. I don't know. I would like to know more about it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday always like puts caviar out and things. Like every time I go there, like Chad treats me like royalty, and he like always finds a way to bring something with caviar out for me. And I'm just like, okay, I'll eat caviar for you. But like I just never been crazy about it. But maybe I'm not having the right ones. Someone send me some caviar. Make it happen. Anywho. So that was my answer in my head for what's the most expensive thing you've eaten that you thought sucked. That's what she said. So here she goes. One time, John and I were at a restaurant and the waiter recommended a nice Cabernet. We got the bill and it was $13,000. How did you casually recommend that wine? We didn't even finish it and it had been cleared. Chrissy, girl. So people dragged her on social. The tweet went viral. People was just going in on her. People said, Chrissy, hey, I worked very hard to make enough money to survive. Would you mind accidentally giving me $13,000? It just backfired. And she gets all defensive and she does the whole thing where she's like, I'm canceling this. Girl, you're not canceled, but just stop. She's always doing this. And I don't know. I'll be rooting for her, but I'll be like, Chrissy, So out of touch. And so, everybody was making these jokes about how, like, because she likes to be relatable. And let me say this, she has went through a lot in her life, and let me just be fair on that. She's went through a lot lately, and that is, that is very much so still there. So, but sometimes I just feel like, why? Why? In the words of Jill Scott, or maybe we can just be silent. Come on. That was a great song. Chili from Philly. Love that song. Probably gonna listen to it after this show. But that being said, all right, I'm wrapping up. But I just wanted to just say, y'all, read the motherfucking room. Don't be Chrissy Teigen. Don't be a lot of people. Read the room. Read the room. Just read the room. Just read the room. Just read the room. Read the room. Read the room. Read it. The what? The room. Read the motherfucking room. Ow. Seriously, read the room, y'all. That's it. That's everything. Like, I'm done here. Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.